Dino, looking at our off-season so far and with free agency fast approaching, what's it been like within the Melbourne United camp so far as you're preparing for what hopes to be another successful season?
Yeah, free agents, this off-season, obviously the review process was the first part of it, and I thought we had a pretty thorough process with our players and coaching staff and support staff and the whole team about how our season went, some areas that we really did well in, some areas to continue to improve in, and so that led us into what our roster looks like moving forward, and I think we'll be fairly active in this free agency period in certainly players from our league and players from the college system as well.
As you look at free agency and building a team that can really play United basketball and the type of basketball you want to play, what are the most important aspects of players that you're looking to bring into this system?
Yeah, a couple of key ones from this year is to how we support Shea Ili at point guard. Obviously, he's taken a few concussions, so there's a stock of players that we want to put around him in case anything happened to him, and have more creation and more ball handling, in our roster moving forward. And then obviously Ariel Huckporty coming off a season-ending injury, and how we support the centre position as well. So there's a couple of keys there positionally about areas that we want to support and make sure if there was injuries that we're able to continue on a really high level and standard. More specifically to the type of people that we want to bring in, we felt like there was some huge adjustments for some players coming into our program this year about how we do things at United, and I think we can do a better job in whoever we recruit and letting them understand before they get here, about what our club's all about, and letting them, have a great feel for that, but also in the people that we recruit, that we don't have to, bend them in too much to come into our program, and we really just let them be who they are.
Over your time with United, this was the first season out of your 6 that United had dropped out of the top 2 in defensive rating. How important is it to put together a team that you're comfortable can jump back into that top 2 or number 1 position as a defensive team in this league?
Yeah, I didn't like, not being, regarded as one of the best defensive teams in the league. It's something that I've prided myself on as a coach and the teams that I coach, but we think we'll see a significant improvement just having Shea Ili on the floor for an extra 14 games, and Ariel Huckporty rated as one of the top centers in the league, and kind of think he might have ended up had the best defensive rating in the whole league the year before. So having those two guys in the lineup, that Shea probably the best on-ball defender in the league, arguably, and Ariel one of the best rim protectors and wall-up guys in the league. So there's a part about personnel that we need to add to get back to that defensive intensity, and the players that we bring in, and we're always looking for really high-level two-way guys as well.
When you look at team building in the sense of local players and imports, I guess you've run the gamut of bringing in 3 imports or going with a majority stake of locals. How do you balance that as you head into an off-season and a free agency period?
Yeah, the 2 championships that we won have both been different. We had a 3 import model, and more recently was the 1 import model with Scotty Hopp and Udai Bobber as an Asian player, and in that model as well. So probably just the culture that we have at United, it's probably easier for players who have come through our system in Australia or in New Zealand to really quite understand and engage in the selfless basketball that we want to play and the defensive intensity that we want to play at. So we're always going to look at the highest level local talent possible. If we believe that's at a point where they match or exceed imported talent. We'll certainly want to look at that, but there's always going to be some skill sets that your roster is going to be missing, and once we identify those, then we'll look at the best imported talent possible.
And changes on the coaching bench as well, obviously having Justin and DMAC heading to Brisbane for larger opportunities. Can you talk to me about what that change has been like and how you'll adjust with your assistants moving forward?
6 years that I've been here as head coach, we've had a lot of people get the opportunity to progress their careers and move forward, and Simon Mitchell, Mike Kelly, Paulinari, Ross McMahon's, and now we see Justin Schuler get an opportunity to lead the Brisbane Bullets, and so really pleased with the progression of coaching staff that we've had come through, and DMAC and what he's done in the skill development area is elite, and so those guys will be hard to replace, but we've had to do it in the past, and we believe there's going to be some good internal upgrades for coaching staff, but still we'll need to go to market as well to add a skill set that those guys leave by going to opposition teams.
And I guess just finally, looking at this off-season as a whole and as we fast approach free agency, is there just a sense of excitement within the United organisation about putting the last year behind us and building something that is capable of winning another championship?
Yeah, we learned so many things last year. Learned, so much about concussion, so much about, making sure our process is right, and when we bring people in. So I think, as we build this roster and engaged a lot of people in the process so far to construct this roster, and we will, moving forward, continue to have really challenging conversations to get the best roster possible. But we don't see last year as that. Obviously, we're disappointed we didn't make the playoffs, but the second half of the year when we got our pieces together, and we're really pleased to be one of the best second half teams of the year, and obviously disappointed that we didn't get to challenge and see how good that group was at full health. But yeah, absolutely looking forward to being back to playing United basketball, being one of the best defensive teams, and challenging for a championship.